of the sun. You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice, raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Boom.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Send herself a blank copy of it.
Meghan.
Who do you think is the victim of bullying?
Meghan Markle.
Of course.
You know, they can't go too all out on Prince Harry. So let's go for the evil, scheming woman. You know, that whole thing about women taking men away, dragging them somewhere and, destroying them. I mean, how misogynistic is that? Here's Hamble in her...
Trisha Goddard might be familiar to Australians from her time on the ABC. But these days, she's a talk show host in the UK, where she's become a rare, staunch defender of the Duchess of Sussex.
I think what she's done wrong is not to be of the correct stock. I think what she's done wrong is to be an American, to be an outsider, to have been...
I mean, she's being herself. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, the unethical behavior over there where they want to, every woman who marry into the royal family, to turn into this unethical type of person, she wasn't playing alone. So she has to be herself. My goodness.
Divorced. Also, she's a strong woman. I'm not saying she's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
But I'm sorry, Prince Andrew doesn't get as much, consistent vitriol.
So what do you think's at play here? Is it sexism? Is it racism? Is
all
it a
of that.
heady combo of both?
Yeah, it's all those and above. I mean, we know through polling that, for instance, the Sussexes poll highest amongst youngsters under 25-year-olds. It is the dinosaurs screaming, because when it comes to an outsider...
That's a good way. It is the dinosaurs screaming.
And a female of colour, then that is something that you are going to come down on because it shouldn't be allowed.
Life behind palace walls is a closely guarded secret, but Grant Harold has a rare insight. He was Prince Charles's butler for 7 years and remembers Prince Harry fondly. He says the public fails to grasp that the palace is, in reality, just like any other workplace, and that means there will be conflict.
So just like any workplace where your employer is putting his hand onto your employee's neck, that's not normal.
A lot of people wouldn't understand, but there are big operations behind the scenes at the palace. This isn't just one or two courtiers. It's a big machine.
It is a big machine.
Oh,
you've got the account departments, you've got the HR departments, art collection departments. There's all sorts of departments that make it all run, and they all work together. You know, this is the thing, is they're all family, but it is...
That reminds me of this guy who worked with Princess Diana, where they were doing a meeting before Charles and Diana were divorced, and on Charles' side there were more like 200 people, and Diana's side a few handful of people. I'll put that clip here. That just reminds me of that.
Can I tell a little story? Please. Before they split up, Charles and Diana twice a year would have a program meeting where they would sit with their staffs and plan their diaries for the next 6 months. And this had obviously begun when the prince was a bachelor, as a kind of a get-together with his close advisors to decide what they were going to do. And it had morphed into this huge meeting. The prince's people on one side of a long table, and Diana and her people on the other. And the last couple of these meetings that we had, I can remember there was Diana and me, and maybe a lady in waiting. And there'd be maybe 20, 30, 40 people on the other side of the table. It was a stark visual reminder of what had happened to what had been previously a united household. But because we were that small, it reflected Diana's own preferences to be responsive, to react quickly to things, and she didn't like red tape. She was very good at doing her work, very disciplined, but she didn't like officialdom. So one time the Prince of Wales was debating whether or not to do a particular engagement, and he wondered if his mother might do it instead, and his private secretary said, well, I will write a memo to the Queen's private secretary. And Diana leaned across the table and said, there's a telephone over there, why don't you pick it up and ask her yourself? And he did, like a man on a date. And he went to the telephone, he picked it up, he got put through to the Queen. The Queen said, yes, of course I'll do it. And he came and sat back at the table and looked at Diana as if she was some sort of a miracle worker, because everything else was a wonderful British bureaucracy. Diana knew how to cut through it to get what was required.
But let's continue.
Like some very modern organisation, you know, like some big business, the way it's done.
I guess it's kind of like a lot of workplaces, that things can get heated.
It can get heated. They were a bit like I suppose a bit like an extended family. So like with families, you have good days and you have bad days. This is a main course plate.
Grant has now moved on to being a high-profile etiquette expert,
So how would you do the cream and jam?
but at times finds it hard to reconcile what has become of Prince Harry and his new wife. Were you a bit sad to see what was once such a harmonious workplace descend to this?
You know, Tom, I remember being at Harry and Meghan's wedding. Everything was great. And then suddenly, it was like somebody flicked a switch, and we've had, off the back of that, there has been so many things that have gone wrong. And
You should ask the palace what happened. Okay, I think many of us knows that it was not Australia's trip where they went at the balcony. That was it. Jealousy. They switched that. Harry and Meghan were there to do the work, but due to jealousy, the same thing with Charles. Charles will never get the spotlight. Will never. Okay, jealousy. William, jealousy. Okay, the kind of cheering, the adoration they're looking for from the people, they're not getting because they are too shitty. They want to do immoral things and they want people to applaud them. So they're not gonna get that. Harry and Meghan, who are doing things the right way with morality, core values and all of that, they want that, and at the same time they cannot follow that simple kind of things. Respect other people with dignity. They can do that. So therefore, they cannot get the spotlight. But let's continue.
I did feel sad. If I'm honest with you, I felt really, really sorry for the Queen. I genuinely felt upset.
God.
I've met her.
She could have put a stop to all of this. I don't feel sorry for her, but anyway.
Looked after her. I got to know her. I know what an amazing lady she is, and I just felt so sorry. You know, everyone thinks that, oh, it's the Queen and she's got palaces and castles and got everything she wants. And
well, she has the power to put a stop to all those BS, but she didn't.
Yes, she has got all that, but at the end of the day, she's still a human being. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, a great-grandmother.
Yes, with all those BS that's going on. If she's still in power, so she should use her power to put a stop to those BS, but instead, she let it go. Passive and all of this. She should have been out of that position 50 years ago, but no. So if she's in power, she should be the one to put a stop to all those BS, but she did not.
For later.
She's a boss. She's a very good boss. And it just saddened me that it was like all these things were just pushing and pushing and pushing. And you know,
she need to talk to the future and future. They're the one who's doing all those stupidity. I don't know. Why did she even give the other woman a queen consort position? Okay? So all this fall on her, no matter how you want to put it. Yes, she's frail. This is the thing, the idea they want people to feel, to feel sorry. There's this frail lady, but she's at the top, the powerful woman in the household. Why doesn't she put a stop to all this BS? She's vicious. But I can feel sorry for someone who's allowing all this mistreatment going on.
people have been saying to me, well, doesn't the Queen look frail? Doesn't she look old? Do you wonder why she looks frail and old? Look at what's all taken place in the last 2 to 3 years. I'm actually surprised she's still alive.
While the palace may...
That's so squatty. I think she's a squatty, I don't know. But the royal rats were upset that she blacked them. You guys should see my video on this.
Be trying to do Meghan a favour by burying the findings of the bullying inquiry. There's now a new investigation that's even more scandalous.
She's a very selfish, self-promoting person who really takes...
For someone who doesn't come out, she's self-promoting and all of that. What other thing? She did her book, okay? She did Ellen. She did books, something, some minor thing. But you guys every freaking day are talking about her. How is she self-promoting? Okay, but then again, self-promoting is not a bad thing though. But it's not true. It's not every day she's out. You guys are promoting her every single day. Let's rewind this slightly.
There's now a new investigation that's even more scandalous.
Oh,
she's a very selfish, self-promoting person who really takes no hostages and is quite determined that what Meghan wants, Meghan gets.
Oh, God. But okay.
In the midst of a crisis, one must famously keep calm.
And that's that guy, Brower, who just wrote a book, and I didn't buy the book, I didn't read the book, but screenshot and things that he says are being in the book are lies after lies. So that should tell you this. Okay?
And carry on. And so Prince Harry got on with business earlier this month, addressing the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
A moment where multiple converging crises have given way to an endless string of injustices.
But the poor attendance at this famous seat of power spoke volumes about the...
Wait a second. I heard a comment on this about poor attendance. This thing was live streamed. This thing was live streamed. People around the world were watching. Are these people for real? Are these people for real? This thing was live streamed, and there were... At one point when I was really paying attention to it, there were a couple thousand. Later on, it reached to a couple million. So, are these people for real? But anyway, let's listen to this BS. Just because there are some empty seats, nobody was listening. Okay.
The Duke of Sussex's cachet these days. The Prince not as popular as he used to be.
They use this as not popular. How come Tom Brower's book is not doing so well? Oh my God, these people are ridiculous.
Seen as an asset to the royal family, Harry and his wife Meghan are now seen as quite the opposite. What threat do Harry and Meghan pose?
Nah, they choose that. This is what called privacy is. They don't have to be out all the time. Okay, when they come out with a work, there's something for us to see, then they promote it. Alright, they don't need to be out every single day flashing themselves or their kids for people to talk about them. Alright, they wanted the privacy. This is what privacy is. Okay, this is what privacy is. They come out when they want to and they share with us what they want to. Alright, so they got what they wanted. This is privacy for you. Okay, privacy 101 from the Sussex's perspective.
Royal family.
I think they pose a considerable threat, but the question is how the royal family...
How are they all a threat when they're minding their own business? It's people who's not minding their own business that feel threatened by it. If everyone mind their own business, there won't be any problem. Okay, they sneaking around trying to look at their backyard, what they doing. How the hell is Harry is a threat to them? These people are ridiculous. They like to punch themselves in the face and then they call it foul.
Is quite the opposite. What threat do Harry and Meghan pose to the royal family?
I think they pose a considerable threat, but the question is how the royal family minimize the threat and dilute the danger.
This is very dangerous what he just said here. This is very dangerous. Very dangerous. These people are vile. I hope young people around the world can see what these old people are doing to their future. These people, oh my God, are vile. What he just said here is very dangerous. With our prayers, with our guidance, with our protection, God will do what needs to be done. This is very vile. What it was not necessary. Harry and Meghan are minding their own business, doing their own thing, but they kicked them out. They told Meghan to go back to America.
If you want to be private, go back to America and live privately. It's pretty straightforward.
She did just that. What did they expect her to do? They're not giving her money. They're not upkeeping her. They have to do certain things to upkeep themselves. How is it they a threat to the royal family? Why is the royal family minding the Sussex's business? Why? This is very vile. This person is very vile. Very vile. Baggage for God.
And that requires very astute management.
Tom Bauer is a...
Management. This is the thing. They want to control everything. They want to control everything. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. What he just said here.
Noted investigative journalist who's authored dozens of biographies on the rich and famous. But his new book, Revenge, lifting the lid on Harry and Meghan, could be the most salacious yet. It's the Duchess of Sussex.
If you go back to a couple of videos from today's date, almost every videos that I have something about him lying. Things that it can easily be debunked. And I've said in other videos, I think he voted for the future when our great-grandkids is searching for about Harry and Meghan, okay, they will see the negative side of it. And everything he said in the book are debunked, or lies, okay?
Sex in particular that he focuses on. And it's fair to say, he's not a fan of the way she has portrayed herself.
How the hell? You're not a fan of her? She's not a... how would you say that? Do what all the other women have done? Let them toss her around and do as they please with her? Are you freaking kidding me? Just mind your own business. You don't have to worry about her.
What do you think motivates Meghan in terms of the story that she's been trying to sell?
I need to find that clip where one of her classmates, I think, or maybe her professor, okay, was talking about how he feels Meghan will be once she married into the royal family. That was before the wedding, and then we see how it is now. Okay, Meghan have been the same throughout. These people are vile. All vile, vile, vile.
What do you think Meghan is going to be able to accomplish next after the royal wedding?
Well,
I mean, Meghan, when she was 21, I remember sitting across from her, and she was outspoken and impassioned about the need for women's rights, women's equality, pay equity. She was a person who wanted to talk about the experiences of race and biraciality and mixedness. And those are conversations she's sort of maintained as the platforms have gotten bigger and bigger, the spotlight's brighter and brighter. And with this current position within the royal family, I can see her using that platform, using that super bright spotlight to cast her attention, full on the need for women's rights, on pay equality, on having conversations that are open and honest about race within the United States, within the world at large. So I see her today. I see a glimpse of her in the past and her today, if that makes any sense. I'm not surprised that she's going to be as outspoken as she was when she was 21, sitting across from me in that class.
A search for fame, a search for fortune. Meghan.
Fame? She already had it. Fortune? She already had it. Are you freaking kidding me? Did people know Meghan was already a millionaire before even married into the royal family? Fame, she already had it. Maybe some of you, I know how some of the Rangers like to downplay, show that she wasn't, but she was making a living. People who knew her adore her, and they flock for her. So what he just said here, Meghan already had it, so she was not searching for them. What she was doing at her free time, if she was really searching for fame and fortune, she would not be doing charitable work. Okay, this is not what someone who's searching for fame and fortune will do. Doing charitable work on the side. And it's not like the way the royal family do charitable work, where they're giving them bags of money to be funneled to the charity. That's not them. Oh my God.
Meghan has a very, very huge opinion of Meghan, and she wants everyone to admire her in the same way that she admires herself.
Are you freaking kidding me? Let me put that clip from that show she did. Are you freaking kidding me?
Oftentimes you walk in here and it's like you're bigger than life just walking in.
Is that how you felt just now?
Yes.
No,
I mean, the whole place lit up. Absolutely.
That's why. Well, we don't get out much, so I don't personally feel that way. I still see myself as the same that I've always been, right? I've always been a hard worker. I have always, the people that know me well, and some of them are here today, I've just always been the same. And so I think Melody's point is a really strong one, in that the perception might be different, but if you are really grounded in who you are, and your ethics and your values, and I don't know, I show up in the same way that I always have.
They love to project. This is oh man, I can't believe these people. I cannot believe these people. This is what our ancestors had to deal with theirs. This is unbelievable. Baggage for God, but let's continue.
And is ruthless in pursuing her own version and image of herself.
Well, if she doesn't tell her own story, you guys are writing every day about her, false narrative about her. If she doesn't come out and tell her truth, who else is gonna tell her truth? Not you guys. She can depend on you guys to tell her truth. You wrote a book about her. Everything was a lie. Everything was a lie. So she has to tell her truth. You people are ridiculous.
Just been able to spend a lot of time at home.
Bauer has spoken to dozens of the Duchess of Sussex's former colleagues and estranged family members.
And let's make this part clear. From what I've read through Twitter, all those people he spoke about are people who hated Meghan. Okay? So if you are an investigative reporter, okay, Your focus should not be on one side. You should do a balanced kind of thing. People who like her, people who hated her, or whatever, anything in between. You can't focus only on the negative aspect. So you're gonna get the negative side. Alright, so that's not a real journalist or investigator for you. Alright?
And claims to have uncovered a consistent pattern of behaviour.
Much has been made of the allegations that Meghan...
This is consistent balance of behavior. But prior marrying into the royal family, we didn't hear any of this. Okay? I cannot believe these people looking people straight in the eye, looking at the camera to lie like this. I cannot believe this.
Meghan bullied her staff at the palace. From what you've researched, does that fit her personality type?
Well, absolutely, because her conduct towards the crew, an 80-man crew in Canada when they were filming an advertisement for Reitman's, a chain store in Canada, was an example of aggressive behavior towards...
So how come her co-star from Suit wrote a whole Twitter thread about her, and almost everybody else who worked with her didn't come out and say anything negative about her? Where did you find these people? Who did you pay to talk to you about this?
The whole crew, and I discovered a pattern which fitted into the behavior which the palace staff accused her of also bullying. And there's also another example in the book of an agent who was trying to help her, who just said that Meghan was undoubtedly the worst person he'd ever had to work with in the whole of his life.
Oh my goodness!
She bullied him, so
they didn't see the Johnny Depp Amber Heard kind of thing to see the worst person to work with.
So there is this aspect to her. She smiles and she's charming and does have the appearance of being benign philanthropist.
How accurate or inaccurate were those stories about her treatment of staff in 2018?
Those stories were false.
The Duchess's lawyer spoke to me with Meghan's permission.
This narrative that no one could work for the Duchess of Sussex, that she was too difficult at demanding a boss, and that everyone had to leave, it's just not true.
But in reality, she is tough, and tough in her own interests.
I gotta give him that. You gotta give him that. She has to be tough, and when it needs to be tough. Because when you have people trying to run over you, you have to be tough. So that, I think I agree with him on this one. But okay.
Personality.
Well, it's a complex personality. She is a woman who works...
complex personality because she's a woman? Oh my God, am I hearing this correctly? This is insane.
Hard, very ambitious,
okay,
very determined, and I admire that determination.
Of course.
What I don't admire is the treatment of people on the way. So
you know this is a lie. You know this is a lie, okay? You know this is a lie. She's been working with a lot of people. Only until she reached the royal family, this is what happened. You guys do the same narrative that you guys did with Princess Diana. Let's move it back. Listen to his BS.
Ambitious, very determined, and I admire that determination. What I don't admire is the treatment of people on the way, which was vicious.
And Charles grabbed him by the throat. Well, they said, "You do understand, Ken, I just have to let this out." Well, Ken was so terrified, he sort of backed out of the room, but he didn't know the geography of the room, so he backed into a cupboard and stayed there for 10 minutes before letting himself out.
Prince Charles expected his butler to keep visits to Camilla a secret from the princess.
Paul just turned around to him and said, "Well, are you expecting me to lie for you, Your Royal Highness?" And Prince Charles said, "Well, yes. Yes, I am." And went into this histrionics about being the King of England, the future King of England, the Prince of Wales, and you will lie, stamping his feet, and then threw this book in Paul's direction.
Savage AF.
And that is all part of narcissism. She's a very selfish, self-promoting person who really takes no hostages and is quite determined that what Meghan wants, Meghan gets.
Alpha.
Wow, this is someone who don't know Meghan and just talk to other people who hate her and then create this and to go on national television to say all of that. But okay. Baggage for you, God. Baggage.
Like, you know, I mean, here we go again. It's like, it's boring.
British TV host Trisha Goddard is quite clearly sick and tired of people taking potshots at the Duchess of Sussex.
You're a really good dancer. I love to dance. Archie loves to dance now too.
She says it's no wonder that Meghan and Harry are much happier these days being based in America.
In the US, people really like them. People can't understand what's going on in Britain other than snobbishness, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that going on.
Do you think it's kind of a no-brainer now that Harry and Meghan would base themselves in West Hollywood instead of Windsor for the rest of their lives?
Listen, you certainly can't blame them if they decide to stay in the States. You really can't blame them, can you? Also, they've successfully sued publications a number of times. I think they've realised that those publications are going to make their lives as miserable as possible. So I can't blame them if they stay in the States for the foreseeable future.
And let's not forget, Harry and Meghan were trying to work with the institution.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
But their popularity was too much for them. They want the spotlight, they got the spotlight, and then the kind of spotlight that they're bringing are shitty stuff, meaning the institution. Harry and Meghan still doing their thing. But let's listen to this idiot talking.
It's hard to see where we go from here to repair the damage, because it seems to be unrepairable.
Well, all the other ones have to do is mind their own business. They're all into Harry and Meghan's business. Okay? Going into her phone, giving information to the newspaper.
What it means is that a senior figure in the royal household, according to Mail on Sunday, was passing him information in order to help defeat the Duchess's case.
So it's all the institution's fault. It's not Harry and Meghan's fault. If it was their fault, why would they even defend themselves at the lawsuit for the copyright? But the institution need to mind their own business. They wanted them out, they are out.
Royal biographer Tom Bauer finds it hard to see how Meghan and Harry ever become at one with the Windsors again. While the whole fiasco is regrettable, he thinks the rift between Harry and William in particular is saddest of all.
Well, this idiot put it up on himself, okay? Prince of Pegging put it on himself, not Harry. Harry knew his position. Harry understand his position. Harry knew he wasn't gonna be the king. He tried to help his brother, but the brother keep on backstabbing him ever since he was a young child. Okay? So at this point now, Harry needs to move on with his life. He has his own life to take care of, so he has to move on. Anything else, it's their own fault. How did I know about Prince of Pegging? Someone over there had to put this information out, because now they need stories to write about, and this is one of them. But let's continue.
So I sense that you think that Meghan is the main reason that Harry and William drifted apart.
I think it must be. There was no other reason for them to drift apart. They were very clear.
I've heard there was thing happening before that, okay? I've read in some tweet, I don't remember what it was, but it was before Meghan came into the picture.
They were good friends. Harry got on very well with Kate, and we know how Meghan and Kate had a terrible falling out.
That's on them, because they didn't like the fact that with little effort from Meghan, she still looked great in everything that she does. And then they want that, and they try to copy it, and they still can't get the effect that Meghan has. Everything else that's happening over there is due to jealousy. Jealousy.
Common ingredient in the falling out, but that's not unusual. I mean, Meghan is the source of a lot of broken relationships.
Are you freaking kidding me?
But also with her first.
Who brought the father into the mix? The father was brought in to stop the wedding.
Right. So that may have been one of the things that upset her. And of course, the photographs were a setup. I was set up by a guy named Jeff Rayner and another guy named Dylan Howard, who was with American Media, I think. And the whole thing was a plan to actually mess up the wedding.
He even said it. The father was brought into this nonsense to stop the wedding. Who did that? They probably offer him money to talk negatively about the daughter. Okay? This is all BS. I'll put the clip where the father even said it.
First husband, with people she's worked with. You know, Meghan is not a healer for many relationships unless it's in her interest.
Dear Michelle, you are so strong and so wonderful.
This letter is nearly 20 years old, and it's from Meghan Markle.
I am here if you ever need me. I love you, Meghan.
Michelle Fanara, who went to high school with the Duchess, has cherished it ever since she got it in 1999.
It just kind of made me feel a little bit more special because she didn't have to write me a letter, but she did.
Michelle, who's now a martial arts instructor, used to be shy in school. She got to know Meghan on a class trip.
I wanted to retreat into my own shell, and Meghan was like, no, you can't do that. You're here for a reason. So she just kept kind of pulling me out of my shell a little bit.
Where the relationship is for her interest, then she cultivates it and is amazingly kind.
Let's not, you know what I see here? The person who keep on saying the negative, the most negative thing about Meghan, that's the one they put more in the video. God, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. Because these people are vile. We don't need this in this society.
And can be very loyal, but she has been remarkably disloyal to the British royal family, who really didn't embrace her.
No, they backstab her. They backstab her. How did the freaking her letter to her father went to the tabloid? How? Why was there interest into the letter, private letter that she sent to her father? And this was not the first time the tabloid encountered of private information of letters within the royal family. They've been sued before. Why did they feel the need to do that again? Why did they need to do that? It's all you guys. Okay, all the fallout that's happening, it's all you guys. Due to social media, people are not in the blind anymore. We see what you guys are doing. Okay, they sent you to be their mouthpiece, to do all the dirty work for them, the same way you guys did for Princess Diana when things were not going right with Charles. Is the same thing that's going out here. It's a shame. It's a shame for all these old people who don't have the decency, the moral character to at least shut them off. Don't even do the dirty work for those institutions. But no, you still have to do it. You wrote a book. Everything about the book is a lie. Debunk really quickly. It's a shame.
And tried to make sure that she was very welcome in Britain. She dished them, and that is really unbelievable.
No. They backstabbed them, and this is why. Okay? They backstabbed them. Okay, so that's that. Let's do a prayer. Prayer for foot soldiers to be silent. I guess, let me put it as that. Alright, prayer. Come on. Oh. Okay, I said prayer for truth to be heard. Okay, prayer for truth. Lord, guide me in truth. May my entire family be led by your truth. Psalm 25:5. Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God, my Savior, and my hope is in you all day long. May I continually walk in your truth in my marriage, in my business, and all of my relationship throughout my entire life. Okay, so let's pick an image for this. Let's do this one. I want a small one. Teacher God, your word and your Holy Spirit are always speaking. They tell the truth of your creation and guide me to righteousness. Still, I struggle with sin and doubt. Sometimes I feel lost and hopeless. I pray to ask you to open my ears to your truth and teaching. Apply them to my life so I can obey you. More. Amen. Alright, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And may God help us, because these old men, all people in general, men and women, are doing some unethical things for our children's future, because they're leaving behind some vile kind of behavior. This needs to stop. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching.